In the town of Ealing, West London, in the early 1950s, a furry little kitten named Jeffy was born. From the moment he could remember, he wanted to be a professional musician. As Jeffy grew, he developed an extraordinary talent for music. He learned to play the piano with nimble paws, and his voice, after much training, became a raspy yet soulful instrument. His early influences came from the American blues musicians who filled the airwaves, and he couldn't help but be drawn to their raw and emotional style. One day, as Jeffy sat on a rooftop, gazing at the moon over the River Thames, he let out a soulful yowl, and the lyrics to his first song poured out of him like a torrential rain. They were lyrics of loneliness and longing, echoing the bluesy rhythms of muddy waters. And there, on that moonlit rooftop in Ealing, Jeffy's bluesy melody drifted into the night, carried by the winds of destiny. Little did he know that his journey had only just begun, and his music would soon take him on an adventure through the ever-changing landscapes of the music world, reinventing himself with each passing era, from the swinging 60s to the dawn of the new millennium. Jeffy the Cat, the British musician, would leave his paw print on the world of music for generations to come. With his soulful lyrics and bluesy melodies, Jeffy couldn't resist the urge to share his music with the world. So, he decided to assemble a group of talented musicians who shared his passion for the blues. Together, they formed Jeffy and the Alley Cats, a blues band destined to make waves in London during the mid to late 1960s. Their first gig was at a smoky, dimly lit pub on the outskirts of London, where the crowd was sparse but enthusiastic. Jeffy sat at his keyboard, his bandmates with their guitars and harmonicas, and as they struck the first chords, the room fell silent. As the music flowed, Jeffy's gravelly voice belted out his heartfelt lyrics, captivating the audience. The bluesy tune spoke to the struggles and yearnings of everyday life, and soon, more and more people started coming to their shows. Word of mouth spread, and Jeffy and the Alley Cats began to develop a loyal following. They played in small clubs, pubs, and even back-alley joints across London. Their music was a salve for the weary souls of the city, and their performances were electric, leaving the audience begging for more. Jeffy's keyboard skills, combined with the raw energy of his bandmates, created a unique sound that set them apart in the bustling music scene of the swinging 60s. During those late nights in smoky venues, Jeffy and his bandmates lived and breathed the blues. They honed their craft, improvising on stage, and drawing inspiration from the legends who had come before them. They played Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and B.B. King covers, as well as their own original blues compositions. As Jeffy and the Alley Cats continued to work consistently, playing gigs throughout London and gaining a reputation as one of the city's finest blues acts, their ensemble was about to undergo a transformation. The band had been performing together for several years, and while they had built a solid fan base and developed a signature sound, they were also eager to evolve and take their music to new heights. It was during a hot, smoky night at a lively blues club in Soho that their paths would cross with Dexter, a remarkable saxophonist with a reputation that preceded him. Dexter had been known for his captivating performances and extraordinary talent in the London jazz scene for years, but he had recently grown weary of his solo career and sought a new challenge. The stage was ablaze with music as Jeffy and the Alley Cats played their hearts out, Jeffy's keyboard grooves weaving seamlessly with the guitarist's bluesy riffs, the bassist's steady rhythm, and the drummer's relentless beats. The audience was lost in the music, and the atmosphere was electric. In the midst of the jam, Dexter, with his tenor saxophone in hand, couldn't resist the pull of the music that filled the club. He felt an irresistible urge to join the band on stage. With a nod from Jeffy, he stepped into the spotlight. Dexter's saxophone wailed, its sultry notes adding a layer of depth and soul to the music. The band members, at first taken by surprise, quickly found their groove with the new addition. The fusion of the saxophone with the keyboard, guitar, bass, and drums was magical, and it created a musical synergy that was nothing short of spectacular. The audience erupted in cheers as the band played on, their enthusiasm palpable. The members of the band couldn't help but exchange knowing glances, recognizing that something extraordinary was happening on that stage. After the gig, They gathered in a dimly lit corner of the club to discuss the possibility of Dexter joining Jeffy and the Alley Cats as a permanent member. Dexter, having felt an immediate connection with the band, was eager to embark on a new musical journey. With Dexter now a part of the ensemble, the band's sound expanded and evolved. His saxophone added layers of richness and emotion to their music, and his presence brought a new level of excitement to their performances. While Jeffy and the Alley Cats were known for their musical prowess and dedication to the blues, life on the road often led to some comical and unexpected situations. During a tour through the English countryside, their old tour van suddenly broke down in the middle of nowhere. With no cell phones to call for help, they had to rely on their resourcefulness. The band members, dressed in their flamboyant stage outfits, ended up pushing the van to the nearest gas station, much to the amusement of passing motorists. On one occasion, after a high-energy performance at a club, a fan rushed up to Jeffy and enthusiastically asked for his autograph, calling him Muddy Waters. Jeffy, who had been channeling the blues legend on stage, couldn't help but chuckle and signed the autograph with a wink. During a particularly lively show, the Alley Cats drummer, known for his explosive drum solos, got a bit carried away. He ended up knocking over his drum set, creating a chaotic but oddly entertaining scene. Jeffy and the rest of the band kept playing, unfazed by the drum disaster, while the audience roared with laughter. At a sound check before a big performance, the band was practicing a new song. As they played, a mischievous alley cat that had wandered into the venue decided to join in, meowing loudly in harmony with the music. The audience had a good laugh when they realized the unexpected guest performer. Backstage at a posh theater, the band was treated to an impressive spread of gourmet food. However, Jeffy's mischievous sense of humor got the better of him. He took a fancy-looking pastry and pretended it was a microphone during a backstage jam session, singing into it to the amusement of his bandmates. Before a crucial gig, Jeffy realized that his signature stage suit had gone missing. A frantic search ensued as the bandmates turned the dressing room upside down. It turned out that the bassist, in a practical joke, had hidden the suit as part of a surprise for Jeffy. The suit was eventually rescued just in time for the performance. During a particularly wild gig, the guitarist's amplifier suddenly started emitting bizarre noises. The band played along, incorporating the strange sounds into their set, leaving the audience convinced it was all part of the show. It turned out that a mischievous fan had secretly tinkered with the controls. These incidents, while often challenging in the moment, added a touch of humor and spontaneity to Jeffy and the Alley Cats' musical journey. They not only showcased the band's ability to roll with the punches, but also endeared them to audiences with their light-hearted approach to life on the road. Life on the road also had their misfortunes and challenges. One of the most persistent misfortunes was the band's limited budget. They often found themselves traveling from one gig to another in a beat-up van, barely scraping together enough money for gas, food, and lodging. This led to cramped and uncomfortable journeys, with little room for relaxation. British weather can be notoriously unpredictable, and the Alley Cats often had outdoor performances at the mercy of the elements. There were gigs where they played in the pouring rain, with their instruments getting soaked and audience members seeking shelter. It made for memorable but soggy shows. Just before a high-stakes gig, the guitarist's amplifier would occasionally malfunction or the drummer's snare drum would break. These equipment failures would lead to last-minute scrambles to find replacements or makeshift repairs, creating moments of tension and panic. After a late-night performance, the band would often find themselves on the road in the early hours of the morning, navigating dark and unfamiliar highways. Fatigue and drowsiness sometimes led to wrong turns, adding unnecessary hours to their journey. While most of their audiences were appreciative and enthusiastic, there were instances where they encountered rowdy crowds or indifferent patrons more interested in talking than listening. These situations were demoralizing, as the band's hard work often went unnoticed. In their early days, the band's budget often led to accommodations that were less than glamorous. They slept in rundown motels or even in their van on occasion, enduring uncomfortable nights that left them yearning for more comfortable lodgings. There were stretches when the band struggled to secure gigs, leading to financial strain and uncertainty about their future. They faced the harsh reality of the music business, where success could be fleeting. At one memorable gig, Jeffy temporarily misplaced his beloved piano. The instrument went missing during setup, causing panic and delays. It turned out to be a mix-up with the venue's staff, but the heart-pounding moments were unforgettable. The demanding tour schedule took a toll on the band's health. They faced occasional bouts of illness on the road, including hoarse voices, fatigue, and the inevitable colds and flus that made performing even more challenging. As creative individuals, the band members occasionally clashed over artistic direction and song choices. These disagreements, while normal in any band, sometimes caused friction that had to be resolved before they hit the stage. Despite these misfortunes and challenges, Jeffy and the Alley Cats persevered. Their love for the blues and dedication to their craft allowed them to navigate the ups and downs of life on the road, emerging stronger and more resilient with each experience. As the band's reputation grew, they were invited to open for more established acts, and their music reached a wider audience. Music labels took notice, and they soon found themselves in recording studios, laying down tracks that would become iconic in the blues genre. Jeffy's blues band, known as Jeffy and the Alley Cats, had earned a well-deserved reputation as one of the finest blues acts in London during the 1960s. Their authentic and soulful performances drew the attention of not only local audiences, but also visiting American blues musicians who came to Europe to tour. Jeffy and his bandmates were exceptionally proficient musicians. They had honed their skills playing the blues and had an innate understanding of the genre's nuances. Their authenticity and musical prowess made them the perfect backing band for visiting artists. Jeffy's band had a deep respect for the blues tradition. They had studied the works of American blues legends like Muddy Waters, B.B. King, and Howlin' Wolf. This reverence for the roots of the genre endeared them to visiting musicians who appreciated their dedication to the craft. While deeply rooted in the blues, Jeffy and the Alley Cats were versatile musicians. They could adapt to various blues styles, from Delta blues to Chicago blues and everything in between. This versatility made them a valuable asset to visiting artists with diverse musical preferences. Jeffy and his band were known for their professionalism and reliability. Visiting artists needed a dependable backing band while touring Europe, and Jeffy's band consistently delivered top-notch performances, earning the trust of American blues musicians. Over time, Jeffy and his band developed a strong network within the blues community. They built connections with agents, promoters, and record labels, which made it easier for them to be the go-to band for visiting artists looking for local backing in Europe. The success of Jeffy and the Alley Cats spread through word of mouth. Visiting American blues musicians who had the opportunity to perform with them often recommended the band to their peers, further solidifying their reputation as the first call band in Europe. The band's collaborations with visiting artists often resulted in live recordings or studio sessions. These recordings showcased the magic that occurred when American blues legends joined forces with Jeffy and his band, further cementing their legacy in the blues world. For Jeffy and the Alley Cats, it was a journey of passion, persistence, and the pursuit of the blues. The mid to late 1960s were a transformative period for them, shaping their identity as a band and solidifying their place in the rich tapestry of London's music scene. Little did Jeffy know that his best days were yet to come, as the 60s gave way to new musical horizons in the 1970s and beyond.